Hi, welcome to the first session of the Soul Compass. So the Soul Compass is a 4-week training, basically helping you to find your own compass. Where is it that you want your life to go, and what do you need to do? What do you need to navigate to achieve what it is that you're looking to achieve in your life? So if you're sat there right now and you know that you want to make changes, there's things that are feeling a little bit like making you feel heavy or stuck, then obviously there's changes that need to be made, and all the changes come from our mindset. So the first session I will give you completely free. So if this resonates with you, if this gives you food for thought, and if it inspires and motivates you, then it might be that the course resonates with you and will be useful. So the first lesson that I want to talk to you about is all about expectations. What expectations do you have on yourself on a daily basis? So, for instance, an example I like to use is the alarm clock in the morning. So, how many have the expectation where we've set the alarm for 6 o'clock, we're going to get up at 6 and we're going to do an hour of yoga before we get up and do everything else we've got to do? Yeah, you have that expectation perhaps before you go to bed. You might find the night before then you actually end up going to bed really late. You've faffed and farted around, and you just didn't actually go to bed till midnight. You've already set your alarm for 6, but you know in the back of your mind you aren't getting up at 6. You're going to press snooze several times. You know this, but we set ourselves up for failure because it's that expectation that we have on ourselves, but we repeatedly negotiate ourselves out of it. So for instance, we're self-sabotaging, aren't we? Because we're sort of saying like, oh, well, I've gone to bed too late now, or oh, I've got to do this before I can, and oh, I'll just have a bit longer rest because I'm actually feeling like I've got a bit of a cold coming. So we don't actually do what we set out to achieve, and that's at the beginning of the day. So then the rest of the day you just feel like you failed yourself. And that kind of has a pattern and a knock-on effect throughout the rest of the day. So I want you to think right now, this is your first lesson, I want you to think of 3 things that you repeatedly negotiate yourself out of on a regular basis. What 3 things occur on a day-to-day basis that you negotiate yourself out of? Things that you know you actually really enjoy, things that you know are actually really good for you, and that do enhance your life and make you feel more upbeat and have more energy. Okay, so think about those 3 things, and then so write them down. You might want to write those down. Think about what preparations can you make so that those 3 things don't keep occurring. So we want to break the pattern if we can. So an example there then. So for instance, you've decided you want to get up at 6 o'clock to do yoga for an hour. So the night before, even if you did go to bed late, you could perhaps put your clothes that you want to wear, put your favourite Fabletics or Sweaty Betty or whatever outfits out ready so that you can just pop them on and get straight to it. Make it easier for yourself. Perhaps even put a bottle of water out there and your towel, and even roll your yoga mat out ready so that it's all done. All you've got to do is get out the bed. So that might be an example of something that you can use. So 3 things that you know you negotiate yourself out of on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And then I want you to think of 3 things that you can do to be more prepared. So making lunch the night before, things like that, it usually stems from the night before the day. So you're making sure, right, I've prepared everything that I need for this day. And it feels so good when you actually do that, when you get those things together. I'm not really telling you anything you didn't already know, but hopefully through watching this video, it will inspire you and motivate you, just give you a little bit of a push to go ahead and do those things. So as you're writing down the 3 things that you negotiate yourself out of on a regular basis, have a think if you can meditate for a moment, just sit with yourself and think, where do they stem from? Why do I do that? Where does that come from? So it might be like that you can really wind that back as to sort of like, okay, so why is it that I struggle so much with allowing myself to get out of bed at the time that I've set myself to get out of bed? Why do I always hit the snooze button? Why am I always sort of allowing the snooze to go off at least 3 times? And that can be a pattern in itself. It's almost like you don't really need that. It's almost like become a routine. Like, oh, well, the 3rd time it goes off, then I get out of bed. If you've ever done that thing where you set it for like 15 minutes before so you can have your 15 minutes in bed, that sort of thing. It's just about being disciplined with yourself. But to be disciplined, we have to recognise the patterns in the first place and then be able to work towards making those changes. So this is lesson number 1 for you. It's only short, just to give you an idea of what you can expect from the programme, the Soul Compass programme that we'll be running. And the Soul Compass, it's not a set schedule each week. It's down to you when you do it. So it is completely up to you. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you with that one. I'm not going to give you too much information on the next part, but go and do those things. So write down your 3 things that you negotiate yourself out of, and 3 preparations you can make so that that doesn't happen anymore. And if you want to go deeper into it, then try and think back, okay, so why do I negotiate myself out of these things? Why is that? Where does that stem from? Perhaps it forms a memory in your mind or something. So do that, and then please get in touch and let me know how you got on. And I will set up an email mailing list so that we can keep in touch. And yeah, let me know how you feel about this and if you want to discuss anything. So I will leave you with this in your day. So yeah, happy Soul Compass Day.